Welcome back, everybody, to another movie review. I'm going to give you guys my review of the latest and supposedly last film in the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And, I've always loved the Indiana Jones franchise, preferably just the first three films. Those are timeless classics. I did not care for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at all whatsoever. That film was just awful. This movie was just very forgettable. It really didn't. It didn't leave any sort of lasting impression on me whatsoever. I did, I want to say real quick that there are going to be spoilers in this video. So for those of you who don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video. If you've already seen the movie, or if you don't care about being spoiled, then continue right now or watch at your own risk, because I am going to spoil this movie for you and tell you about a few plot points that I remember. But essentially, the MacGuffin, if you will, in this film is the Dial of Destiny. It's supposedly basically Archimedes' dial that he made back in 212 BC or something like that. And it's supposed to be able to basically allow you to go back in time or time travel, right? So we're going into the realm of time traveling in this movie. The movie starts off in World War II. You have a younger Indiana Jones in the 40s, and he's, all in CGI, of course. They decided to use a CGI model, which I will say that his CGI model looks pretty good compared to other movies that have tried to do this, such as I think Star Wars Rogue One did this. But it just, the voice didn't quite match up. It sounded like it was voiced by Harrison Ford, the current Harrison Ford, older Harrison Ford. So that kind of threw me off, hearing a little, not the right youthful voice of Indiana Jones, if that makes sense. But anyway, there's a train, and he's looking for this thing called the Lance. I forget the whole name. See, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of things I don't remember. And he's trying to basically rob something from a train and full of Nazis. Well, his friend Basil gets captured by the Nazis and tells him that this spear is not really real. It's a fake. They find out that it's a fake. Mads Mikkelsen's character Voller actually finds out that this is a fake. It's not the real thing. He is the antagonist in this film, by the way, played by, as I said before, Mads Mikkelsen, who does an amazing job playing the bad guy in anything he's in. But so Indiana Jones is going through. He kind of dresses up as a Nazi soldier, and he sneaks aboard the train, and he ends up finding the spear that's fake. But Mads Mikkelsen discovers that there's this thing called Archimedes' dial, which is the Dial of Destiny, and it has godlike powers, right? The power to change course of history. Well, of course, while trying to find this dial and trying to get to the treasure, there's a bunch that happens on this train. I don't remember the specifics. I'm sorry. Once again, this was a pretty forgettable movie for me, honestly. And there's a big chase scene through the train. There's a scene where Indiana Jones, Basil, and Mads Mikkelsen's character Voller are on top of the train, and they're trying to fight back and forth for this dial. And basically, Mads Mikkelsen's character gets hit by this oncoming thing on the side of the train. He gets hit by it. Indiana Jones has one half of the dial, because apparently the dial got broken in half. I believe it was Archimedes that wanted to split this dial in half. And so Indiana Jones comes out with half of the treasure. And then we just fast forward to modern day, to present time in Indiana Jones's life. He's older, not so much in shape. Marion, his wife, is nowhere to be seen. Remember, he did marry Marion. And you don't see her anywhere. And lo and behold, Indiana Jones stumbles into his goddaughter, Helena Shaw. She makes herself present. This is Basil's daughter. And basically tries to convince Indiana Jones, hey, look, let's find the dial. She's like, I think I know where the dial is, but we need to find the dial. So through a series of events, they end up kind of working together to go find the dial. We end up finding out that Voller, Mads Mikkelsen's character, is still alive. And he is claiming he's not a Nazi. I believe he's, there's like the CIA's involved, and the CIA agent, I forget her name, had no idea that the people that she was working with were actually undercover Nazis. So, as I said, the movie wasn't as memorable as you'd think. I'm just remembering key things from what I saw. And this movie is like 2 hours and 20-some minutes long, which I felt like was 2 hours too long. I know they're trying to make a long, lengthy movie, but it just wasn't very memorable. They ended up finding this half of the dial, and honestly, like, the movie just... I was kind of bored. There were some scenes that were cool, like the underwater scenes were pretty neat with the eels and they're on this boat, which the captain of the boat, I couldn't believe it was Antonio Banderas. See, I had no idea. I knew nothing about this movie. I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't know who was in the movie, and so I really went into this movie knowing nothing but there's a new Indiana Jones film. I didn't know what the dial was. I actually didn't even know until after I watched the film that the dial is actually based on a real life object. Archimedes, I forget what it's called, but it's a real thing. It doesn't have that ability to do time travel, which is what this movie's about. And basically we find out, but back to the ship, it's funny because it was Antonio Banderas, and I hadn't seen Antonio Banderas in anything in a long time. And I was looking at him and I was like, that looks like Antonio Banderas. And then the credits roll and it was him. I'm like, whoa, some of our favorite people in Hollywood are just aging. And it was crazy to see him. But he's in there for a brief role. He helps Indiana Jones and Helena Shaw. They have to swim to a certain part, I believe it was the Mediterranean Sea, to find the other half of the dial. They end up finding it. They go underwater, and one of the characters, there's a kid, I forget his name, but he's, another kid character in Indiana Jones, and he's a thief, and he's partners with Helena Shaw, and he's, basically tells Antonio Banderas' character is like, oh, there's eels underwater, and the kid's like, yeah, they're basically like snakes, and Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. But they go underwater. The underwater scene was pretty cool. Basically we find out that Voller is wanting to travel back to World War II. He wants to use the Dial of Destiny to set a course back to 1940s Germany to assassinate Hitler, is what he wants to do, so that he can help the Nazis win World War II, is what his goal is. We find this out through a series of events, that's his plan all along. And so as we get towards the last act of the movie, this is when things get really wild, because if you remember in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, when Indiana Jones ran into the refrigerator, right, when wasn't there like some explosion or something, tried to save himself from, remember when he hid in there? And I remember and I'll never forget that. There's a lot of things I don't remember that movie, but that is something I'll never forget. And I thought, man, that is just ridiculous. They really jumped the shark in this film. So they're in the plane, Indiana Jones is captured, Voller has the dial, and he's charting a course, or what he thinks is a course, to the 40s or the late 30s to overthrow Hitler and take over. He has this uniform, so he dresses the part. It's all legitimate. But I guess he just had with him since back then. And they open up a portal, and it's like this, it's like this massive cloud thing in the sky that opens up, and you kind of see the other side. And Indiana Jones is all tied up, on the plane, and it's this, it's this German plane. It's pretty modern. And he goes, "You idiot, you're not going to Germany, you're going somewhere else. You don't know where this plane's going to take us." Like he's trying to warn Voller of it. And Voller's like, no, I know where I'm going. Shut up. They punch Indiana Jones, tell him to shut up. So you've got Indiana Jones is there. Then somehow Helena was still on the ship, this plane. And then you have this kid, and he's with someone, and earlier in the movie they tease this kid learning how to fly, be a pilot. So there's a kid, and then this other guy he stole the plane from. They're also trailing behind Indiana Jones, Voller, and all these other Nazis, and they're making their way towards this opening in the sky, which we all don't know at this point where this is headed. We have no idea. But we can see the dial. It's looking like it's correcting course and it's changing, basically. So they go through the sky portal. We'll put it that way. And as the member of the audience watching this film, we don't know where they're about to take us because we're in the middle of a time. This is a time travel movie now. This is where we are. This is a time travel movie. We have no idea where we're going. So we go through. So Indiana Jones, Voller, and everybody else goes through first. The kid and the other pilot, they're also going through. And what do you see? You see two early 200s BC. I'm not kidding. It's the Romans fighting the Sicilians in Sicily, because he had already planned a course to Sicily anyway. He was going to go to Sicily. Voller was. He's like, damn it, and then Indiana Jones is like, damn it, you took us to the wrong time. And you see these ships and these damn trebuchets, like, you know, throwing flaming balls of like rocks and things, and it's like, are you kidding me? And so they literally went back in time, way too far back, and there's this massive plane, which obviously planes were not invented in the early 200s BC. Okay, so all the Roman soldiers think that it's a dragon because it's, you know, it's big. There's like, you know, people are, and so the one Nazi guy, the sidekick to Voller, is like shooting people with a machine gun. So obviously these guys are getting bullets at them. And the whole time I'm thinking, you know, as someone who has watched a lot of like time travel movies, they always say, like, you know, if you step on a blade of grass, you can change the course of history forever. I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, so how is history going to change with not one, but two planes that are from like the 50s and 60s? How is that going to change? So I'm just thinking, okay, where are we going? Because if you thought the refrigerator scene was wild, this just takes the cake for wild, all right? So basically they get in there. The one plane crashes, the one with Indiana Jones and all them in it crashes. Of course, you know, the good guys win. The plane crashes. You got Archimedes there. Actually, Archimedes is like, you know, noticing that, like, oh, you know, because you end up finding out that Archimedes basically sent help. He wanted some help. He needed help. So he was the one that kind of opened the portal and shifted the time, apparently, from what I gather anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. And so Indiana Jones and Helena meet Archimedes while there's the battle's going. This historical battle is taking place. A plane crashes, right? The kid and the other pilot save them, and then Indiana Jones is like, I'm gonna stay here and help them. And I'm just thinking, you realize, like, you can't really do that. And then even Helena's character is like, you can't do that. Like, that's going to create a time paradox. So you got, you know, like I said, you got bullets flying everywhere. You got bullets going into all these Roman soldiers, and the plane crashes into the ground, right? There's a plane crash. And so this kid, like, basically saves Indiana Jones, and she's like, you know, telling Indiana Jones, Helena's like, you can't stay here, you're going to create a time paradox. I'm thinking, okay, like, they kind of already have with all this technology that has thousands of years away from being invented, basically. And she punches Indiana Jones. It's like, you're not leaving, you're not staying. She punches him. And the next thing you know is he wakes up and he's back in the modern era. They like the 60s or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, you just left a plane there. You left a plane with a propeller, with all this technology on board. I'm taught by all the movies I've seen, Back to the Future, the Time, like all this, that, and the third, butterfly effect. Everything you do can change the course of history. You mean to tell me leaving a giant plane behind didn't change the course of history, like, at all? That's the one part I struggle with, was there had to be something that changed the course of history by leaving the plane behind. So the movie ends, Indiana Jones wakes up, he sees Helga, you see this kid with Marion. So we finally see Marion. We don't see Marion in the whole entire movie. We don't even know what happened to Marion. I guess I don't remember. Like I said, this movie was very forgettable. Like, there really wasn't a whole lot there that was like, and basically that's it. You see Salah, which is played by John Rhys Davies. His character, of course, a staple in the other films. He's there. He shows up earlier in the movie too, of course. But it was just, this movie is not like a horrible film by any means. I have seen some truly awful films. This is not but if is it a good movie? It's not a good movie. I did not really come out of this film. I did not thoroughly enjoy the movie as much as I wanted to. I just was sitting there thinking the whole time, like, we're really turning this into a time travel film? And I thought, and I'm thinking, like, I was waiting for, because, this is a 2-hour, 20-some minute movie. I was waiting for okay, when are we going to time travel? Because you don't talk about time travel in time travel film and not go somewhere. So I'm thinking, where are they going to go? Because we knew that Voller wanted to go back in time towards the last half of the film. So I'm thinking, are we really going to go back, or are we going to go somewhere weird? And we ended up somewhere weird, and that just was like, yeah, this movie's just... So I want to say this. The question, is this a good movie? It wasn't a very good movie. It wasn't a horrible film. Should you watch this movie? If you're a fan of Indiana Jones, I would say you should watch this movie. But don't go to the theater. Don't go to the theaters. Wait. I'm sure this is going to be on Disney Plus. I forgot that, I keep forgetting that Lucasfilm is owned by Disney. So when I saw the Disney opening, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So this will probably be on Disney Plus. Wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or 4K, Blu-ray, or wait for it to be on a streaming service, because I just don't feel like this movie was worth going to see in theater. It was just a wild movie. There wasn't a horrible front to back at all. There was some fun scenes, like the train scene was fun, the underwater scene was fun. The end was just an entire mess to me. I thought that was weird. But after all, man, those are my thoughts on Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Take with them as you will, take them for what you think, Let me know in the comment section below, did you like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to us here on the domain for movie reviews, video game reviews, convention travels, and more. Also, I want to thank all of you for helping us get partnered. That's right, we are now YouTube partners, so thank you guys so much for helping us get partnered here on the domain. We appreciate you. You can become a member of the channel by hitting the join button. You get all sorts of perks. You can join for as low as $1.99, and you can see the levels right here, all the membership levels and everything else. And if you join, we would super appreciate that. If you haven't already, subscribed, as I said, and please like the video. And let me know what you thought about Dial of Destiny in the comments below. I will be reading the comments. I do respond to the comments. We do respond to them here. Until the next one, I'll see you guys later, guys.